Okay, there we go. Back into it. Okay. Branding happens whether you want it to or not. So you have to make sure, okay, that you are carefully crafting what you want your brand to say. Carefully crafting what you want people to say about you. It is deliberately built. Every input shares that impression, right? Just like this guy taking two journeys, right? If you let your brand be built by accident, it's just like this: missed opportunities, confusion, inconsistency. This guy's got no idea which direction to go, right? So, as I love down the bottom here, I wrote this: you don't choose whether you brand, you get to choose how. Isn't that great? You're in business. In other words, you're a brand. It's no longer a choice, my friends, but you do get to choose how. So, what's the tone? What's the look? What are the stories? What's the content? What are the values, confidence, consistency, and reputation that you want to build? Sound good? Now, I'm going to give you a framework for building this, okay, in just a minute. But before we dive in, let's do a little bit of introspection. What do people currently associate with your business? What do they hope what do you hope they associate with you? In other words, what do you want them to say about you? And where's the biggest gap right now between how you want to be seen and how you are currently seen? Where's the biggest gap? Right? For some of you, we've done this diagnostic process. This wasn't about understanding everything in your business. It's about understanding what's the one you need to fix first. Right? So in other words, I want you to know what are people currently saying about your business and you? What do you hope they start saying about your business and you? And where is the gap? All right. So this here, my friends, is the first part of building out your brand. All right. So we are currently on page 23 of your workbook. All right. Before I unleash you on this writing exercise, any questions? No? Okay. Okay. Good. So I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes here to work on these specific questions. All right. 3 minutes to work on these ones right here. Go ahead. What do they associate with your business? What do you want them to associate with your business? And where's the biggest gap?
Um, so where do they associate me with my business and where do I want them? Those are two different questions, right?
Yeah. So, what do people currently associate with your business?
Currently,
What
okay.
are they thinking right now if they were to see you and your brand and your business? And what do you want them to think? What do you hope they associate with?
I have three different things going on, but the film is where I know the people moving into health. So I'm kind of like, what?
Mm-hmm. So this is actually a good thing. Okay, so in this exercise, Bev, just to illustrate, using Bev as an example for a second, you guys, Bev, you're transitioning, right?
Right,
You and I talked about, okay, I'd like to do this less and do that more, right?
correct.
So people currently associate with your business or your brand, personal brand, as Bev, right, is that you're in the film industry, you're in the hair and makeup space, right? You know a ton about that stuff. You know all sorts of fascinating colors. Like my wife told me that this isn't a pink shirt. I said this was a pink shirt earlier. She's like, it's not a pink shirt. She told me during lunch. I don't know. What color is this, Beth? What is this? I don't know what this is. To me, this is pink, but it's like purple almost, I guess.
Let me see.
Can
I did take.
you see it? I don't know what this is. What color is this?
Moby?
Yeah, I would say almost a lilac.
It looks lavender to me.
There we go. And we dive down a rabbit hole, right? But those are things that people would associate with Bev right now, right? So there's these list of things that we're associating. And now, specifically, I want you to think about your personal brand, right? Bev, Irene, Mary, or anybody who's selling like an actual product. Think about your personal brand, not your product brand.
Okay.
Okay?
What I am right now.
Yeah. What are you right now? And then what do you want them to think? Okay? What do you want them to associate with you? And which one is where's the biggest gap in that problem right now? Even I'm going through this as I switch out of the content to cash elements that I was doing in 2025 into Time to Lead Academy in 2026, the evolution of our company. I have to change what my personal brand represents, right? Obviously, doing content is a part of it, but that's not the whole thing anymore. Okay, give you guys another 30 seconds here. Okay, good. So I jump back over to my PowerPoint. All right. So, why you need a hero brand. All right. Now, we've already spent some time talking about how crowded and noisy the market is, right? So, the clarity that you get from establishing your hero brand is a huge boost, right? In recognition and power for you. A hero brand is visible, it's memorable, it's trusted, and it's magnetic. Because one of the things it does is it leans into classic archetypes that we already have profound trust for, right? You people want to quickly compartmentalize you into a box. And one of the things Bev and I were talking about recently was that you have to add some mystery into things. And sure, there is stages where there's mystery, but you should have mysterious adventures, not be a mysterious brand. Does that make sense? I should be able to put you in a box and understand exactly what type of brand and person you're going to be in my life very quickly because your job, my friends, with your marketing, the whole point of the attention section, the branding section of the influence business system is to build trust. That is the whole damn point. And if you're trying to be mysterious and slippery on the front end of that trust, what happens? Do I trust you or not trust you?
They think you're up to something.
You bet they do, right? When today you're being super duper helpful, but tomorrow you're being really stern and a jerk, right? What box do I put you in? Right? Day three, you're all philosophical. I look at people's branding on their social media. One day they're posting some philosophical quote from Socrates. Then the next day they're criticizing politicians. And I'm like, you are all over the map. Like, I have no idea what box to put you in.
Maybe manic depressive.
I just think that they're being human. But the problem is a human in business has to be a brand. Remember, you don't get to choose whether you brand or not. It's already happening. What you get to choose is how. So a hero brand is clear, it's compelling, it's emotionally recognizable. This is what I'm riffing on right here, and it's distinct. When you get good at this, you guys, you will see it everywhere for those that know what they're doing, and it will stand out for you. It will be distinct. Okay? So what does a hero brand stand for? A hero brand is highly visible, which means you get noticed more. It's expert in authority building, which lends credibility and trust. It's resilient and it's magnetic, meaning you can withstand the ups and downs of your business, and you have personality and staying power. Staying power. Okay? Good brands stick. They don't vanish when the storm gets high. And O stands for outstandingly profitable. Your ability to establish a strong positioning statement with your brand allows you to charge more, allows you to ask for more, allows you to attract more. Right? One of our core values inside our company, as Irene can attest to this, is we like more better, not better more. Or more better is better than more. I said that wrong. Right? More better is better than more. And that's what a hero brand does. That sound good to everybody? You want that?
Yes.
Sounds tasty? Okay. So a hero brand helps people trust faster, and this is why. People do not need to know everything before they move towards you. They don't. They just need to have clarity around who you are and what box they can put you in. Right? Are you the useful or the stern but loving parent? Are you the goofy and eccentric genius? Who are you? Right? Where do I get to put you? So the hero brand helps you identify what you stand for quickly. It helps them understand what experience they can expect when they interact with you. Right? That is so important, you guys. Before I reach out to anybody, right? If I'm looking to buy, I want to know what type of experience I'm bracing myself for. Don't you? Right? If Gigi's ideal client, when I reach out, I want to know, this is an intimate conversation. I want to know what type of reaction I'm going to get. If Gigi's videos are one way, where she's inviting and gentle and introspective, and she's inviting me into thinking about some of the things that are challenging me, and then I get on a call with her and she's hammering me about how shitty I've been and how I need to break out of my bad belief patterns, there's a huge dissonance there, right? Does the dissonance build trust or shatter trust? You tell me. Build or shatter?
Better.
You bet it does. Right? So what type of experience can they expect? You cultivate that at the beginning. What makes you different? The hero brand helps differentiate you in the marketplace. And whether they trust your energy, your values, and your expertise. In other words, they feel aligned with you. Does this make sense, everybody?
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. This is just me being really blunt. Nobody talks about this. I don't know why more business coaches don't talk about this. But as I said in my presentation on Tuesday, sometimes I just think that they're stuck in old ways and they're lazy. All right. So, what are the 5 archetypes? Personal brands fall almost all predominantly into these 5 archetypes. And I just want to say, this is a beautiful slide. Isn't this cool? Like, this one's very neat.
It certainly is.
You made it yourself?
Me and AI tools, we worked for quite some time to cultivate what I want.
Ah, yeah, that one.
Yeah,
The
well, you
two
don't want me
legs,
to
yeah.
you don't want me to sketch anything, Bente. It's horrifying. So, anyway, I'm just saying. They're nice slides. As
But
Shanna was alluding to earlier, she's not sure about.
You have been very clear to your friend at the AI.
Yeah. As Shanna was saying earlier, she's not so sure about the material, but the slides are nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I really like your picture there for stern but loving parent.
Yeah.
Remember when I tried to do that in my logo with a lion, and you're like, "What the hell is that lion going to do? What does that mean?"
Well, but I said that because you're in the equine space, young lady. It had nothing to do with that. The lion wasn't right.
No, I'm in the protective parent space.
Yes, I know.
I just do it with a horse. Yeah.
You just do it with a horse. But see, okay, but there's one of those things. I was noting the fact that, and I hadn't articulated it this way, there could be a dissonance, Shannon, between your logo having a lion and when they show up, they're working with horses.
I don't think so.
It might not be relevant at all. I'm just saying that was what I'd noticed.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So 5 things: stern but loving parent, wise and philosophical professor, the resilient and relatable everyman, the mystical and connected seer, and the eccentric and curious genius. Adventurous, not curious. Probably curious too, but eccentric and adventurous genius. Okay. This is going to give your brand a feel. It's going to help people understand you faster, aka trust you faster. And it means that you know that you don't need to be everything to everyone. If you get nothing else out of this exercise, it's to understand that when you pick a brand, you are that brand for people. When you pick the hero, you are that hero. You don't have to try and be the wise professor, the resilient everyman, a stern but loving parent, a mystical and connected seer, and an eccentric and adventurous genius in everything you do. Now, some of you are going to be like, well, on Saturday, I really felt like I was a stern but loving parent because I had to have a tough conversation with my son. But, on Tuesday, I met with some friends of mine, and we had this really deep conversation about spirituality. So I'm definitely the mystical seer. And I have to say that, I've been through a lot, and I'm not a superhero. So I'm pretty resilient. You can be anything. The fact is you are a mixture of all 5 of these damn things. But from a marketing perspective, this is like ideal client. Irene can sell her product to anybody. They could be 15, they could be 85. It doesn't matter. But you can't market to everyone. And the same thing sits here. Your brand should represent you in a specific way. Are you nuanced? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean your brand shouldn't say something very specifically upfront to build trust. Nuance is confusing, and I'll say it again. Confused minds do nothing. Y'all with me on this? Yeah? Okay. So, the 5 hero brand archetypes: stern but loving parent, eccentric and adventurous genius, wise philosophical professor, mystical and connected seer, resilient and relatable everyman. These are their core qualities. The stern but loving parent is protective and dependable. The eccentric genius is bold and inventive. The wise professor is thoughtful and clear. Mystical seer is intuitive and grounding, and the resilient and relatable everyman is humble and real. Now, a real quick question. Which one am I?
Oh,
Which one am I in my marketing first?
I really
And
want to pick
eccentric and adventurous genius.
Okay. Irene thinks I'm an eccentric and adventurous genius.
Oh.
Got it. Shanna says no. Oh, you're talking to
I'm
somebody.
responding to the house, which is, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I think number 5.
Okay. So you think the everyman, Gigi?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else?
But you can be stern and loving too, so.
That's exactly the one I was going to pick.
Okay. Now, what's interesting is that Irene is not just a client, but she also works with me. So she sees all the backroom stuff that goes on. She sees me disappear into the laboratory of my office and come out with some weird shit. Present it and her go, okay, first off, you're going to let me spell check that before anybody sees it, right? And then she'll give me a bunch of information or critique. So that's how Irene interacts with me all the time as the eccentric and adventurous genius. That's why she's going to feel that way. Irene doesn't really consume my marketing. She's already here. Right? Mary and I have a long-standing relationship, right? Where this is the second time she's been in a coaching program with me. right? And I have been a stern but loving parent as a coach since I started coaching, always. But the fact is my front end marketing, if you take a look at it, it's the everyman, right? It's hard to divorce your experience with me after you've been hanging out with me for a while. But the fact is if you go and you look at my marketing, it's about, I went through something. I'm on the other side of it. I'm nobody special. And here's what I've learned. Learn from my scars. Right? You don't see me out there doing something wild and wacky, right? Trying to get people's attention that way. I'm not at the front end of my marketing pounding a gavel telling people to get their heads out of their butts. I'm certainly not the mystical and connected seer, right? But it's interesting though, because you each experience Michael Bridgman, the person and the brand, in your way. But I'm using it as a point to illustrate how nuanced we are and how even at different stages. So your front end marketing, you guys might be one way. Once they get into my coaching program, though, I have to be the stern but loving parent, or else we're not getting anywhere. At least that's the story I believe, right? I have to start wearing different hats. But I want to attract you into my business by illustrating my journey. Is everybody with me on this? Now, if you look at marketing for like a Tony Robbins or somebody like that, he's been doing it so long that you're going to see all sorts of different parts. But ultimately, Tony's main thrust is that he's a stern but loving parent.
I agree.
Right? That's his main point. If you were to boil down all of his content and everything else, I would say you're probably going to get 50 to 65% of it is a stern but loving parent. Does he
And
have stories
also,
about being an everyman? Sure. Sorry, Bente?
and to all people.
Yeah,
He wants to help everybody.
that's right. But Tony built his business, Bente, on helping business owners. He did not start by helping everybody. He specifically helped entrepreneurs within the range of about 45 to 55. That's what he started doing. One of his first big programs was Business Mastery. Right?
Yeah, but men, they say that men functions best by 50 or 60 because they use their energy differently.
Well, I'm getting there. I've still got a few years to go before I finally use all these energy pieces, right? But we'll see how it goes. Okay. So any other questions regarding that? Does that all make sense to you guys? Okay, because now you get to be unleashed on building your own. Okay. People seem a little tentative about this. Are we good with the...
Yeah, I definitely fit into two different categories where people already see me as the spiritual psychic, healer that I am, and then as a head of department in makeup. So it's, yeah.
Well, so now this gets back to what we did before, understanding your ideal client. What do they need? And understanding your brand, Bev, right? This is, remember, the first questions of this whole section.
Yeah.
What is your brand saying right now? What do you want it to say? Put a slightly different way, what does your audience need it to say? Right? Because we talked about what does your ideal client need to feel? What do they need from you to move forward? So that's a part of this. To then go, I have been seen as the wise mystical seer, right? That's a role I've been playing. And I'm just riffing here off the top of my head, Bev, for you as an example, okay? But I think it's valuable for everybody to hear this. I was the mystical and connected seer, but my new customer needs me to be the stern but loving parent. For example, for you, right? So how do I lean away from that energy and get into the other one to draw the clients to me? I can talk after their clients. I can talk about the journey that their gut health can help them go on in a spiritual fashion. But that's not what they need in first blush. They need the other version of me. Does this make sense, everybody? Is this getting sort of diamond crystal clear, or is there still mud around this concept? Johnny gives me a thumbs up. Okay. All right. So then let's move to page. Where are we here? Page number 26. And in here, I give you guys some details, right? Like, what does the stern but loving parent feel like? You can trust me to guide you, protect you, and do what's right, right? They're all about strength or sorry, they're all about safety and structure and reliability. Eccentric and Adventurous Genius says things like, or their brand basis says they're smart, exciting, and there's more original and cool ways to do this. Right? Wise and philosophical professor, the brand says, I see deeply, I think clearly, and I can help you understand what really matters. Mystical Seer says, there's a deeper truth here, and I can help you reconnect with it. And the resilient and relatable Everyman says, I get it, I'm with you, I understand. So the question is now, you get to choose. This is what I said. Branding is not an option. Choosing how you brand is the option. So you get to choose. What's the archetype, okay, that feels most natural for you in your business? What's the one that fits like a glove? And then it's good to know what the polar opposite is. What's the one that doesn't resonate? And then, of course, which one is your client most drawn to? So I'll give you guys 60 seconds here. What's the most natural? What's the one that's least natural? And what's the one your client wants the most? These are questions on page 26. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Bev. Irene's got hers. Okay, good. Okay. So let's hear from you, Irene. What is the archetype you lean into the most?
Okay, the archetype I lean into the most is resilient and relatable everyman
Okay.
because of the strengths of relatability. I can understand what you're going through, or I have many stories I can share with you about what you're going through.
Okay.
I'm emotionally accessible and I can be trusted.
Love it.
And the second question was,
So which one are you
uh,
least?
oh no, the second question was not that. The second question was,
Yeah. What
what
archetype?
could
Oh,
I
sorry.
put
What
else?
archetype feels least natural, right? Least natural on your in your book, right? In your
Yeah,
workbook.
I was answering the questions from my book and now I can't find my question. Um, which one would feel least natural would
Yeah.
be the eccentric, adventurous genius.
Mhm.
I'm not full of surprises.
Okay.
Um, what I have is real. So I don't know.
That's so Irene. I love it. Okay, perfect. Because everybody who knows you knows that it's like, no, no, Irene wants it pre-programmed. We have to have it laid out ahead of time. We're not gonna like be improvising in front of the crowd or anything like that. I would so in presentations, you guys, when Irene would do them in live, and she'd be at the back of the room and I'm at the front of the room. If I got the order of the pages wrong, right? Like, okay, everybody, it's now handout whatever it is, and Irene would be like, no, 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 it's supposed to be like, it was so good. So good. There was no improvise. I would get a voice for the back of the audience. They're going, that's not the handout we're doing. Yeah, or just panic at the back, going, oh shit, where the hell's that handout now? He's screwed up the order on me. Love it. Okay, and then what archetype does your ideal client most drawn to, Irene? So think about that person that you're working on
Um,
before lunch. Which one would they want to be drawn to?
the wise and philosophical professor.
Okay,
Someone they can trust, someone who provides clarity, and someone that has wisdom.
awesome. Love it. Okay, good. Good. All right, Bev, you also said that you were done. Let's hear from you, and then we'll hear from some others too.
Uh-oh.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I said number 5, the resilient and relatable everyman, because working on set, it's like, I can relate to them, they can relate to me. We're all going through it in it
Yeah.
together.
Okay.
The opposite, the complete polar opposite would be number 2. Um, I just, and then the most drawn to would be number 5. Because they
Okay.
can relate to me, I can relate to them.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right. Excellent. Mary, how about you?
I think I'm the same as Irene. I would be probably the every man first,
Okay.
and and my least would be the adventurous one, I think.
Okay.
And um, yeah, I'd probably gear towards the professor to be able to tell them the truth and educate and get the action.
Okay.
Um,
Love it.
you know,
Okay. Awesome. Very good. Gigi, how about you?
So I said the resilient and relatable everyman
Okay.
is where I feel um, that I am.
Sure.
The least natural would be number 3, um, not wise and articulate.
Okay. Got it.
um, but I will say that what the feedback that I get from people,
Mm-hmm.
interestingly enough, no matter how resilient and relatable I've been, is that I would say most everybody would say that I'm probably number 4, intuitive, the calming and restorative, grounded.
Mm.
That just by being with me, the energy is healing.
Love it. Okay. Very cool. Pente, how about you?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Every man.
All right. Yeah, for sure. Love it. Okay. And what are you
And
not?
maybe the professor or something, if the, yeah. Mm.
And you're not the professor? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm both.
Okay. So what do
He's
you think?
asking which one you're not.
Yeah, which one are you least?
Oh, the rest.
All four. And what do you think
A
your
little healing, I
clients,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
what do you think your clients want most? Oops.
But I understand them. I've been there. I've been in my avatar. I know them.
Hmm.
And then they can see my way out of it.
Okay. Okay, good. So now part of why we discover what they don't or what they want as well is we want to try and marry up what we think our clients are looking for, right, with who we are representing. Okay. I don't know if Shanna's back or not, but So the next set of questions here, you guys, is what is the secondary flavor? What's the secondary one? So Irene, if you are the everyman, okay, so you're the relatable and resilient everyman.
Mhm.
Are you also the professor now, or are you one of these other things? What else do you think is a part of your hero brand?
Wise and philosophical professor,
Okay, good.
for
So
sure.
a lot of the time, you want to make sure that what your client wants is either your primary hero that you're showing or it's your secondary flavoring.
Hmm. For me, those two go perfectly together for my business.
Mhm. Now that's, and I'll just pause my share for a second. That's your belief
Hmm.
because of who
True.
you are, right? There's going to be other people that are going to be like, no, no, no. I need to be doing crazy stuff out there to be
Yeah,
getting attention,
exactly.
right? Driving attention. I'm going to do these wild things. I'm going to go these crazy cleanses. I'm going to, you know, biohack all sorts of stuff, and your guys' product will be a part of that process and everything else. That might be what they think is going to work. So ultimately, this is a personal choice. These are about the
Yes,
stories that
Can
you're working
can
with.
that's
I
what I said.
I'm
It's
I'm
fits.
sorry, Irene. You know what? I'm really interested in you and wanted to follow along. I missed what you said about the what you had just said about the secondary. Can you
I
repeat
said,
that
I
just
think
so
it
I?
goes, I think the wise and philosophical professor goes well with the resilient and relatable everyman that I believe that I am. So
Okay.
I think those two work well for me in my business. And
All right.
that's my, as Michael said, that's how I relate to my business.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
great question,
welcome.
Gigi. Thank you. All right. So now the idea here, you guys, I'm going to jump back over to make sure I'm on point with your workbook here. Um, I want you to now go through the questions that are on page 27. So the archetype fits because. Why does this work? Right? You guys were starting to already say that when you were talking about who you are. Why does this work? My ideal client would likely trust this archetype because, right? And I want my brand to feel a certain way. I don't want my brand to feel a certain way. And the emotional experience I want people to have with my brand is, right? Getting nice and clear and concise about these specific things. Now, you guys are already doing this. When you said I'm the everyman because you were already saying this. So just take what you said and put it into that answer, right? You were already doing this job. And as I'd mentioned, if what you think your client wants as a hero brand is not your primary, like it's not who you are up front, then you got to make it who you are secondarily. So if we use me as an example for a moment, I want to represent myself as the everyman, right? The relatable everyman. That seems to be a common theme. And it turns out every one of you is like that. Is my branding working? You're all the same, right? And so the fact is that's why we gel. That's why we resonate. My secondary is the stern but loving parent, right? That's what my clients actually need. They don't need the relatable person. I can get access to them that way, but they need the parent. That's my belief, right? They don't need me to be out there skydiving and riding surfboards. They need me to help them get on task and focused.
Is there a place I can go to see these questions that
Oh,
I've
yeah.
added?
Page 27 in your handbook, Bev.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And as you're working through these, you guys, okay, take them. So these are the 26 questions, right? And then make sure you fill, okay, my primary hero archetype is, and my secondary hero archetype is, because we're going to then start summarizing this in what you want other people to feel. Okay. Now, as you're bringing that to sort of a close here, okay, lots of creative work going into this now. We were taking a lot of what we talked about this morning, and we're framing it into this hero brand concept, right? We're taking your ideal client, we're matching it up with your superhero, right? We're matching these things together. Okay. So now we want to identify these specific pieces, right? And you've already started doing this. We want people to feel, we want people to associate us with, right? What are those things? Is it money? Is it health? Is it love? Is it passion? Is it safety? What do we want to associate us with, right? These are normally universal themes. We never want to come across as what do you never want to come across as? Clinical, right? I never want to come across as cynical. I never want to come across as rude. Like whatever those things are, right? Some people do want to come across as rude, gets people's attention. Okay. Our brand believes, our brand stands against, our tone should sound, and our visuals should feel. Now, this is like the ideal client questions. If some of these you're encountering, you're like, I'm not really sure how to answer that yet, move past it. Okay. These are big creative thought processes. If a question isn't resonating at the moment and you don't have an instinctive answer, that's okay. Just move past it. Right? This is about assembling pieces as we go. And you can always come back to this. And in fact, I encourage you, come back to the workbook, keep mining for information from these questions. By show of thumbs up, is everybody good with that? Okay. This isn't about getting every question answered. This is about getting the ones that you need so that you can start making more money and helping more people answered. Okay. So take what you've got now from these questions on page back to my workbook on page 26, okay? And move those into the page 28 questions or really statements. We want people to feel
Trust.
yeah, they want to feel trust. It's great, Bente. Write that down. We want people to feel
I
trust.
have.
Good.
I have.
There you go.
And the next one too is trust, both of them.
Hmm. There you go. And what else? What else do you want them to associate with you, right? Progress, value, richness, wealth, Clarity. That was obviously a part of this morning. I mean, as has become very obvious, I know what my visuals should feel like for my brand as I move forward. Right? How many times have I referenced the PowerPoint now? Gold, black, professional, sophisticated, wealth, richness, all purposeful. Okay, just another minute on these, and then we'll bring this section to a close. Okay, now I'm going to pull you guys back up out of your writing for a minute. We're going to take a brief break in just a couple minutes, you guys. What I want you to do, though, is you have a thing called brand expression statement, okay, on the bottom part of page 29. That I want you to craft and cultivate and work on, and then share that in the messenger group over the course of the weekend or next week sometime. Okay, that's going to take some work to take all of these branding pieces, all this feeling, work through it, triage it down to a brand statement. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. But what I want to wrap this section up with very quick here is my chosen brand hero archetype is, and you should have your first archetype followed by your second. Okay. And you can say this like, I am the resilient and relatable everyman, right? And a stern but loving parent. That's how I would say that together. Okay. That is my chosen hero brand archetype is blank. The key emotional tone of my brand is, you have to answer that statement. And then finally, the one thing I want people to instantly feel about my business is, answer that statement. Everybody got that? Those three quick questions. My chosen hero brand archetype is, the key emotional tone of my brand is, and the one thing I want people to instantly feel about my business is. I'll give you guys just another couple minutes to finish that off, and then we'll share those.
I'm just stuck on the my brand stands against.
Ah.
Blank.
Okay. So don't worry about, remember, as I said, Bev, when you hit a question that's frustrating you, just move past it.
Okay.
But in the second half of this afternoon, we're going to talk about your arch villain. Every
Fuck
hero
that.
needs a villain.
Well,
Okay.
that'd be my villain.
So wait till we get to villain. Your answer may be discovered then.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See what I mean by everybody was going to need probably 2 pens to get through the day? Some workshops you go to, and so much of it's fluff, and it's just rah, rah, rah stuff. And I'm like, I am never doing that.
I could have brought all my crayons.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, by show of thumbs up, who's got their 3 pieces to that? Bev's got hers, Shanna's got hers. Great, great, great. Okay, so while people are finishing things off, Shanna, why don't you start us off? Let's hear yours, my love.
All right. So my primary hero archetype is resilient and relatable everyman, and my secondary hero is stern but loving parent.
Love it.
And what I want people to instantly feel is hopeful and understood.
Cool. And what's the key emotional tone of your brand?
The key what?
The key emotional tone.
The key emotional tone. Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't put that. The key emotional tone. Um,
I think you might have said it. Hope.
Hope. Is that what you
Hope's a
said?
big one. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad
Yeah.
one, right, to work with. Okay, so now when we do this exercise, Shanna, you got to feel like a superhero. Okay, you got to feel like you got to jive it up here a little bit. You got to feel like a superhero. Okay, so then you got to tell us all over again. I am a, and this is the one thing I want instantly to feel. Let's hear it again with some energy behind it. As a superhero, let's go.
All right. I am a resilient and relatable everyman. Also a stern but loving parent who wants you to feel hopeful and understood. And on my key emotional feeling is hope.
Love it, love it. You are a hope superhero. Look at her.
Thank you.
Doesn't that feel right?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Okay, Bev, let's hear yours. Crank up the energy. Let's hear Bev's superhero personality. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, you're muted there, love.
That's because I went blank. See, I get on the spot, I go blank. Okay. Crank it
Okay,
up.
big energy. Let's go.
Big. Gee. My number one is totally relatable. And
No, start again. I am.
read
I
this.
am. You are. This is an I am statement. I am a relatable everyman, resilient everyman, right? Or say every woman if you want to. Whatever. But it is an I am statement.
I am totally relatable, and I can't find where my notes are. Very convincing right now. Not. Eh. Okay, push the easy button.
There you go. Easy button, Bev.
I'm totally relatable and something.
Resilient.
Resilient, thank you. And want um I want my brand to feel very healthy, helpful, and peaceful. My secondary is the wise and knowledgeable.
Okay.
And I don't look very convincing right now.
That's good. We'll work on that. Okay, perfect. Okay, who's up next? Who wants to give this another shot? We're gonna hear from two more before we cap this off. Who's ready? Who's next? Who wants to crank up their superhero powers? All right, JG, let's go.
All
I
right,
am
so
statement.
I am resilient and relatable everyman. And my second archetype would be mystical and connected.
Mm.
Let's see. I want my brand to feel comfortable and allow people to open up to receive a safe space to share, create, and align. Our brand believes we have the power to choose wisely.
Mm.
And yeah, that's it.
Love it. Okay, good. Okay, whoever's next, who's going next?
I can go.
Okay, Irina, I want you to do something for me. I just had an idea. Okay, apply when you say the I am statement, use the qualities from the second archetype and give it to the first one. So, what I mean is that for Michael, I would be a stern but loving, resilient, and relatable everyman. See how I did that? I'm not saying that I'm a parent, but I'm taking the parent's attributes and applying it to my everymanness. The same as Gigi would say, I am a mystical and connected, relatable and reliable everyman.
Okay.
See how that works? I'm applying the qualities to give unique characteristics. Okay, go ahead, Irene.
I am a wise and philosophical professor that is
No, you're not a
resilient.
professor. Take the profession out. You're a
Oh,
wise and
I'm
philosophical.
wise and philosophical, resilient and relatable everyman.
Oh, that works. That works beautifully. Okay, love it. Okay, next thing. Yes.
My key emotional tone of my brand is relatable and trustworthy.
Hmm.
And then the one thing I want people to instantly feel about my business is basically the same thing, trust and clarity.
Cool. Love it. See how we did all this work, you guys, to finally come down to a very precise, relatable statement. I like that. I'm tweaking that. We're going to keep that. Take the qualities from the secondary archetype and apply it to your primary, because then we're all kind of different, right? Love it. Okay, give each other a big round of applause. Good work, everyone. Good work. Love it. Okay, so we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. When we get back, this is all about creating your heroic story, right? We dive into the things that are the tip of the spear when it comes to your marketing, is the stories themselves. Everybody good with that? Nice hero brands, you guys. That was fun, wasn't it? Everyone's like, oh my God, dude. I was like, no, not fun. All right, I got to get some more water. As usual, I have to use the bathroom. And then we will be back. So give me 4.5 minutes or so. I will see you back here in just a bit. Shoot. Okay. By show of thumbs up, who's got their transformation story? Yeah? Some notes on that? Okay, cool. All right. Let's go to the next one here. This is your miracle story. So every supernatural hero here, every hero needs a miracle. You need some sort of miraculous moment that we can lean into. Okay? What result made you believe more deeply in your work? Right? What moment proved your method really mattered? Okay, but we know Bev's story about the neuropathy. Mary shared it. We were talking about it. What was that miracle? When you woke up one day, Bev, and suddenly you could feel your fingertips, you could feel your toes again. Right? What client outcome, perhaps, that's where this comes from, that stands out. That's so, in Mary's case, Bev is the client outcome. In Bev's case, it's her own outcome. Right? And what did that moment prove? What did it demonstrate? Your miracle story is the moment that made you think, oh my gosh, there is a new version of the world that's truly possible. Okay, so there's some prompt questions in here for you, right? What result made you believe more deeply in your work? Was there a client outcome or turning point? What happened that made you realize that this really mattered, that you can make a difference? And what did that moment prove? All right, you got 2 minutes. Miracle story. Okay, you got 30 seconds. Okay. Another show of thumbs up. Everybody got some interesting concepts about a miracle story there? Good. Good, good, good. Okay. The next great story you need is your superpower story. Bow, bow, bow. Okay, what do you do super well? What are you so gifted at? What do clients thank you for? What problem do you solve especially well? What do you understand quickly that others completely miss? These are all great prompts, right? What do people consistently say that you're great at? And ultimately, what feels so natural to you and comes easy, but looks like a heroic feat to other people, right? So for me personally, my superpower, one of them, is being able to see you and see through what you're stuck in to know the way to get you out.
Mm.
I can see your pattern that you're stuck in, and I can see how to get you out. That's one of my superpowers. That and flight, of course. So, the idea here is what is your superpower? And use those prompting questions to flesh this out. I'm only going to give you 60 seconds for this one because this will not take long. Just give yourself a couple flags. Okay, everybody thinks I'm amazing at this. Everybody thinks I'm amazing at that. What do people say you are incredible at? Write it down real quick. Trust your instincts. If I was to ask your best friend, man, what is Gigi phenomenal at? What would they say? By quick show of thumbs up, who loves their superpower? Who loves it? Bev loves her superpower. Nice. Mary loves her superpower. Gigi, you love your superpower? Yeah, she does. Okay. Excellent. All right. I love this at the bottom. Your edge becomes visible when your strength is named. When you give your superpower a name, right? Now you can deploy it. Right? Now you can deploy it better. All right, but here we go. Superheroes aren't that cool unless they have fatal flaws. So the human side of your story is what makes you relatable. We want to hear about the amazing things you do. We don't want to read about a boring character. Nobody wants to watch somebody that doesn't do anything, right, Bev? Nobody wants to watch that movie where all they do is sit in their apartment all day long and eat Cheetos and play chess against themselves. Nobody wants to watch that movie. But the fact is, all of us have fatal flaws. None of us are completely heroic without anything. Superman would be the most boring hero on the planet if kryptonite didn't exist. Okay? So, what is your fatal flaw, my friends? What do you struggle with? What has this taught you? What do you have to keep coming up against? And where have you doubted yourself or got in your own way? And what has this made you better at helping others to do? Your honesty is an empowering and important part of your brand. This makes sense? So once again, you guys know yourselves very well, and I know how easy it is to lean into negative stuff. So I'm only going to give you 60 seconds because I don't think you need much longer to know what your fatal flaws are. What are your fatal flaws that you can tell people about, that you can talk about, that you can be, man, I've always struggled with X, right? What is your fatal flaw? What is your fatal flaw? I love the question. What continues to follow you around, both personally and professionally? Put another way, what's that freaking weed? What's the weed? Right? We all know Cat Barbers, or Cat Barbers, right? She tells it's always time management, always a cat, right? That is her fatal flaw, and that makes her relatable, right? That makes her a totally relatable, genuine heroic character. Okay, good. By show of thumbs up, who's got a fatal flaw or two? Has everybody got one? Yeah. You read the look on your face. I love it. It's like, oh, yeah. Okay. Now, there's two more left. Okay. Now, this one is a little trickier. So, this one will take you some time. I'm going to go over the concept. Okay. I'm not going to have you work on it this time because it will take a little bit of time for you. But as a superhero, you need parables. These are stories that you use over and over and over again in your marketing. I use one about the two brothers. They were asked to get water from a well to the village. And I talk about how one brother just got up, picked up two buckets, and just started running, right? And he got super fit, incredibly lean over the course of a year. He was buff and was transporting water faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster than anybody else. The second brother was an engineer, and the second brother decided, you know what, I think there's a better way. And he wound up building an aqueduct from the well to the village. And when it came time to open the aqueduct 1 year later, he opened the aqueduct to the well and put his brother out of business. And everybody criticized the second brother, going, gosh, get after it, man. Get the water over here. And he was out there in the woods and measuring things and figuring things out. And I use that parable all the time to illustrate the power of building systems. Right? When I'm talking to people in my compass calls, if we're going to talk about systems and how they can't get shit together, that's a parable I use all the time. Sometimes you got to slow down to speed up. So, what are your parables? Comparisons or metaphors that you like to use? What are everyday examples that you can lean into? Pardon me. What are short stories that you can pull from or use? Right? What truth does that story reveal? Your parables, okay, also become the things that in the sales process, you guys, remove objections before they even show up. Because they fundamentally are stories that change people's beliefs. See what I'm getting at? Bev's like, no, I don't understand. So, Bev, in our process, right? Even when you and I have been talking, or during the Unlock Your Brain presentations, I share stories, aka little parables, throughout those presentations to help change the way you see things.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
That's what I'm getting at, right? So there was one the other day where we were talking about beliefs, and I shared about the fact that I never felt comfortable, right? A parable for me was my own experience. I never felt all that comfortable hiding what it is that I was doing with my business, regardless of what it was. It never, though, that pair of pants never fit.
Copy. Thank you.
Okay, that's basically a parable. It's a little analogy from my own life. So these are going to take you some time. I want you to work through the prompts, and I want you to come up with different parables that you can share that illustrate things about your product, about your service, about your business, about your life, about the transformation that you offer. Make sense? Very powerful, very valuable. All heroes have them. If you watch some of the greats that I've been talking about today, you'll see them share parable style stories over and over and over again. Right? Zig Ziglar's got that great one where he's like, timid salespeople have skinny kids. Isn't that great? Timid salespeople have skinny kids. In other words, they don't have any money, right? So they can't feed their own children. And he tells a little story about that whole concept. It's not a real story, it's a parable. Okay, and finally, the one Bev's been waiting for. Who is your archvillain? Who is your archvillain? Every hero needs a villain. And here's what I will tell you about villains. They are twofold. A, they're critical, and B, they never go away. Right? Does the Joker ever get caught by Batman? Nope. Never. Arch villains in your life and other people's lives are things that they never fully get rid of. Do they shrink the amount of time they have to fight it because they get more powerful? Yes. But you have your vices, you have your problems, and so do they. And those things aren't going away. Just the speed at which we crush it every single day gets faster. So, what frustrates you about your industry? What bad advice or broken norm do you reject? Right? What feels misleading, harmful, lazy, ineffective? Right? You ladies with your gut product, you can go after mainstream grocery constantly. Throw them under the bus, attack them. I do that with the vet industry at Just About Pets. Right? I do it with Mars and Nestle, the chocolate bar companies that make 70% of all the pet food out there. Who is your arch villain? Clarity grows when people know who you stand against. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Write down your arch villain. Who are they? What are they all about? Your arch villain. You don't want to get along with everybody. It's bad for business.
I had an arch villain come forward at the market that I just did on Sunday.
Ah, yes. Good. That'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
That'll happen. And that final question, what are you here to fight against or correct? Very good. Okay, by show of thumbs up, has everybody got an arch villain?
No.
Well, Shanna, you know your arch villains already.
Okay.
Pharmaceutical business, baby. Get those sons of bitches.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, as you flesh this out, as we finish this off, let me take a look here at where we're at here. Arch villain. So in your workbook, you guys, you have a story vault, right? This whole section here is working titles or key ideas that you want to flesh out for your story inventory. This is where you could put all these tales and come up with, right? On page 39, you could dive into your story vault and keep putting information in there. All right. And what you stand for, what you stand against. This is a phenomenal exercise, right? We don't have to do it right now, but principles that you stand for as a superhero, those things all need their opposites, or else it doesn't resonate.
Like,
right?
Can you give a couple examples of that?
Yeah, for sure. So let's use just about pets. Okay. We stand for one of our beliefs is that healthier pets are happier pets. Okay. So we stand for natural foods, a species appropriate diets. We stand against the Mars and the Nestle's of the world that are filling your dogs with cancer causing sugar, absolute nonsense and garbage ingredients. And we stand against the homogenization of the pet industry. How what you don't realize is that there's 3 venture capitalist companies that are buying up every pet store in the country right now. They already own 32% of the entire pet industry market. You don't even know they exist. They're buying up vet clinics. They're buying up all these things. You know that Mars owns 40% of vet clinics in the States.
Who owns them?
Mars.
Mars.
The chocolate bar company.
Oh.
40%.
Wow.
They make the food
With
that's
our
on the
food.
shelf. Does that sound like an objective situation to you?
Mm-hmm.
The average lifespan of a dog was 17 years in 1972. It is now 11. They're going the wrong direction.
Yep.
So you get what I stand for? You get what I stand against? You understand where I am, right? I am a champion. I am a superhero fighting for these dogs, fighting for these cats.
Yeah.
You need to pound the table against your arch villains and everything that they stand for so that you can stand against them.
Okay. Thank you. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So
your story vault, backstories, working titles, lessons, meanings. Okay. You're going to fill these. I gave you kind of this like pseudo concept, right? Put these into your phone, put them into notes, have a scratch pad, whatever it is. But whenever you're telling a story or thinking of a story, you want the working title / lesson and where you intend to use it and what it's for. Okay. So lesson could be, or the title of a lesson for one of my backstories is that moment where I was looking at my books and not getting anywhere, right? And feeling absolutely terrible about that. What's the meaning? Okay. That you can get out of your situation, that what you need is the right guidance. That's the ultimate parable of that story, right? I found Make Your Mark. I changed everything. I took a huge pay cut to take that program. 2 years later, I'm running $1 million company. That's the story. Okay, does that make sense, you guys?
Mm-hmm.
And as we bring things to a close for the end of today, okay, I just want you to reflect here for a moment and write a quick 1 or 2 sentence thing about what we got out of today. We've gone through quite the journey, right? How to get attention and what the challenges are, how to gain clarity in what you want and how you're going to get people's attention, right? The different methods and where you can find them. We worked a lot through Ideal Client. And then the Hero brand is all about building a powerful, magnetic authority and expert building brand to resonate with your audience. So what became clearer today? What decision did you make, are you making today? And what do I want to come back ready to build tomorrow? So what did you pull from today?
Michael, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because I think I was thinking, I'm not sure if I followed, but on the story types.
Okay.
We have working title or key lesson. So I got that. And then meaning and best use is, how is that different than the key lesson?
So if we go back to my story about looking at my books and being frustrated and being caught crying in my office by my mom, right? If we go back to that story, if I was to flesh out that whole story for you, what wound up happening was I don't pray very often, but in that moment I prayed and I said, please send me somebody in my life that can change this for me because I don't know what I don't know and I don't know how to get out of here. That was in February. In April, I was at a business excellence event, which was held by Make Your Mark and now held by a very good friend of mine who lives 3 blocks that way, right? Colin. And Colin was a business mentor and coach, and he had a program. And I said to my mom, I need to take this program. It was $17,000 or something like that for 2 years. And she's like, well, we don't have any money for that. And so at the time I was making 40 grand a year. So I cut my salary from 40 to 30 to take the program. After that, within 6 months, we were profitable. Within a year, we'd gone up to almost $1 million in revenue. No, we were about 900,000, and I was teaching in his program rather than taking it. And so that rebirth story, we could call it a rebirth. We could have framed it as what it doesn't matter. But the fact is that story is all about me going through and asking for something. And the best use of that story, right, would be maybe somebody's getting ready to decide whether they want to do business with me or not. And I share the story about mentorship. Maybe maybe I'm on stage or I'm talking to a group of people and they're going, well, we don't know how to get out of these situations. And I can relate to them that I was also in a situation like that. Where do you think the best use of that story is
Yeah.
to move somebody
Right.
along?
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you.
Because down the bottom here, I also put social media posts, videos, emails, websites, presentations, live talks, lead magnets, sales conversations. Those are going to be the areas where you use these. And this vault becomes a massive marketing and branding asset. You've got a story, you've got a parable for everything. And when you tell them early by asking questions in the sales process, hearing them, and then sharing a story that reverses the question, you don't have to worry about objections anymore because you already got rid of them. Your
I'm
objection
sorry.
handling.
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah. So let's play
I
out a
mean, it
scenario.
sounded important. That's I
Okay,
don't
so
want to mess it.
we'll play out a scenario.
Okay.
I say, Gigi, what's holding you back from making $10,000 a month?
Myself.
I hear you. That was exactly what my client Irene ran into too. She was really frustrated with where she was at, right? Why do you think it's yourself?
Because I allow myself to get overwhelmed with all the things that need to be done.
Yeah. There's a lot, right? There's tons. I mean, you got to do I do email marketing? Do I do social media marketing? How do I do sales? How do I get the leads? Do I build a lead magnet? Do I not? Do I do presentations from a stage? There's so many different things to figure out. And I know, and speaking of that client of mine, Irene, what was great is that she was facing a similar problem, right? She wanted to grow her business and she was really stuck. She wasn't sure where to go. And so she was frustrated by this constant need for her attention. And what we wound up doing was we figured out exactly where her ideal client likes to hang out. Turns out it was on Facebook. So all the other things, all the emails, all these Instagram stuff, all the TikToks, none of it mattered because her ideal client was actually on Facebook.
Gotcha.
And we went through a process for her to try and figure that out. Right? So then I would go, and so that's what we do inside our program. Would that be like solving that problem for you? Would that be interesting for you? Would that help you?
Yeah, for sure.
So there we go. I asked her what her challenges is. She threw it to me. That's going to be some sort of objection that I'm going to have to handle later if I pitch her. Right? So let's handle it now. I make up a story about Irene because that's obviously not something that happened, although maybe it did. But the fact is that I make up a story about Irene and I use Gigi's language, and this is this is literally story sales technique. I pulled pieces of phrasing from what Gigi said and turned Irene's story into a conquer the monster story in the moment. Because Gigi said she's frustrated by, she's haunted by, she can't deal with this problem. What's holding me back? This monster over here is holding me back. Okay, so she needs to conquer the monster story. Does that make sense? That's where your stories come into play. And if you do that in your marketing, you're already pitching. You're already breaking down all of the objections that somebody's going to have because you're telling stories in your marketing that shred them. Now, one objection, one story, one piece of content. That's it. That's all you get. If you try and do two things in one, I'm going to find you and pound on your feet. Rule of
You
one.
said one objection, one story, and
One piece
solution?
in one piece of content. That's it. One of my biggest content mistakes of all time was just trying to do too many things at once. Right. Does that help, Gigi? Okay. That's how I use them. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Much thank you from me to you guys for sticking around for that. Excellent stuff. Give each other a round of applause. Good job. Good job. Now, I'd love to just hear from you guys as we sign off. Did you get some great value out of today? Was that good?
Totally, but you make it seem so simple. It's like, oh, I'll just throw that out there.
It's a
You
lot of
saw
practice.
how I
Bev.
froze, right?
A lot of practice. Bev. But I make it simple, Bev, because I keep it simple.
Yeah,
I just listen to Gigi and I just respond.
yeah.
But I can do that because I've got a toolkit of storytelling in my hip pocket ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do the preparation work, it always feels hard and complicated because you're improvising and you're making shit up in the moment.
Yeah. I'm disappointed that I'm going to have to listen to the recording tomorrow and not because I have to do this appointment that I can't get out of. But
That's okay. It'll be there.
Amazing value. Like just my brain is
I
like
agree.
right now.
Good. Well,
I
that's a
wonder
lot of
if I'll
information.
have
You guys,
dreams
power to
about
you
you
guys.
again, Michael.
What's that? Sorry, Bev?
I wonder if I'll have dreams about you again and showing up to class. I was telling Michael that I literally dreamt about making sure I got to class on time.
That stern parent was gonna get
that
after
stern
you.
parent
You
was
didn't?
showing up. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Irene, Mary, Gigi, what did you guys get out of today?
Oh, it was to me, it was an absolutely fantastic session, showing us the importance of our brand and knowing who our market is, like really drilling down to who your ideal client is, and uncovering what superhero we are was interesting work to do.
Well, now you got to pick your underwear and your cape, Irene.
No, I'm not a cape girl.
I'm not a cape girl. She's got plenty of underwear, but not the cape.
Well,
sure. That's great. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Mary, Gigi, how about you ladies? Who wants to go first? Gigi, go ahead.
I loved the story types and how it really solidified some of the content that I have been thinking about. But what stood out the most was what we stand against.
Yeah.
Was really powerful because I mean that's pain points.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And what's great about that, just one sec, Irene, is that every movement, and whether you like it or not, you're creating a micro movement. You want followers, you want people that are listening to you, right? Every movement needs something to move away from. Movement doesn't happen unless there's something to move away from. We talked about this before, right? People tend not to move towards pleasure, they move away from pain. So, what's the villain? What's gonna fucking haunt them if they don't deal with it? What's coming after them? And you can be there going, see, look what they're doing to you. Get after them. Every great movement, whether you look at, I'm reading a thing about Scientology right now. It's fascinating how they created that religion, right? Fascinating. They needed villains. And so they went after regular religion. They went after these things very specifically. It was completely on purpose, very directed. Anyway, go ahead, Irene.
So now that we've uncovered our archvillain, because I've never really so much thought about it before, are we allowed to use that in our marketing or a Facebook post or a story and be specific?
What do you think my answer is going to be?
I don't know, because could that get us in trouble?
With
Like,
who?
do you name Mars, or
You
do
better
you just
believe I
say
do.
there? Pardon me?
You better believe I do.
You do.
Sure.
Okay. So for me, my arch villain that I wrote down, because I know so many people do this, is Costco. Like, I love Costco, don't get me wrong, but their vitamins and their supplements, not all vitamins and supplements are made equally. That is 100% for
You go
sure.
get them, girl.
So talk about that. It's
You
okay to
bet
talk about
you
that.
have to.
Okay. Okay. That's a big learning right there for me.
Irene, I'm already excited to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Specificity is critical to that, right? So you need to be specific about the villain. Love it. Mary, go ahead. Oh, we can't hear you, Mary.
Oh, you're muted, Mary. There you go.
Sorry. I was telling Bev the other day, a friend of mine, Rob, used to talk about vitamins and how the ones that are shellacked, and he called them porta 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 potty bullets,
Nice.
because when it goes to the plant, they've gone through everybody's system, but they're still solid, and everybody thinks, oh, I'm paying $15-20 and I got vitamins, but when they're shellacked, they're not even breaking down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's so many of that's one of the things I learned is you can put a lot of vitamins from places like Costco in a glass of water and let it sit
Exactly.
overnight
Yeah, they
and
don't even-
nothing will happen to it. Nothing.
nothing.
So to answer your question even more bluntly, Irene, and this is me being stern parent, Costco gave a flying crap about what you say. Let's just be honest. Like,
No, they
I
won't.
love you and you're very important to me in my life, but you don't make a lick of difference to Costco. Right? So say all you want. Right? If suddenly 7 million people are all sharing your post about how bad Costco is or how bad their vitamins are, well, then they've got two problems. One, it's probably freaking true and they need to deal with it. And two, they're like, wow, this woman's created quite the stir over her indictment of our vitamins. Maybe we need to hire her. Like, the fact is that there's none of these companies are safe anymore, right? They've put themselves up publicly. You're allowed to share an opinion about whatever you want. And the more opinion you share, the more reaction you get by the people that disagree with you, which is fine. Great. You've now signaled you are not a client. Perfect. Get out of the way, because there's going to be a whole bunch of people that do signal that they want that. Right? Bev, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that a lot of times when you call something out like that, there are people who get defensive. So be prepared for that. They'll try to
Oh,
defend it, you know. I know, like, sometimes, and don't get me wrong, I'm an artist. I can totally appreciate body art, but if somebody says, and as a healer, if somebody says to me, "Oh, I'm always having this pain in the middle of my back," and then, I look over and they have literally a tattoo of a dagger right between their shoulder blades, and I'm like, "Well, that's the energy you're putting on your body." Like,
Yeah.
you're stabbing yourself in the back, literally.
Yeah.
And
Says
then
something
they
about
get
them.
defensive about it, but that's you know, it's a thing.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Any final questions at all as I leave you guys to it? Sort of,
I think I'll be integrating this for the rest of the day
yeah, sort
in
of
my brain.
letting you simmer in all this creative
Brain
energy.
food.
Good for you guys, though. You played full out. I love it.
Yeah, it was great, Michael. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
well,
you
Welcome.
that
so
is one thing I will say, Michael. This course today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 pages of notes. A lot of it is from my, like, the different story notes that we had to do, the writing we had to do. But this course, this today, has kept us totally engaged, where I can tell you I've been at many online courses where people can't see what I'm doing. And I fully intended to send a bunch of messages out today while I was on course. And I haven't sent out one because I didn't even have time because I was so engaged in what we were doing. So kudos to you for that.
Awesome. That's good. That's good. Well, thank you.
been phenomenal.
I'll take it.
Mhm.
And those are not notes.
I
No,
I
no,
know.
no, no. That's progress. You've got 12 pages of freaking progress,
There you go.
right? You go to some workshops, you'll take notes. That binder will close, that book will close, and you will never look at those notes again.
What did Colin call it? Do you remember?
Like not shelf help. He said something.
Shelf.
Yeah.
Shelf
He
No,
always
help.
called
shelf
it
help.
shelf help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
shelf
always
help.
called it shelf. Is that where you know each other from? Is Make Your Mark, Mary?
Yes,
How come I don't know you from there?
because I probably started in about 2016, 2017, I
Oh,
think, and
okay. Yeah,
and you were
I was
probably one
already.
of the ones before me.
No,
You're
no.
after?
I worked for Colin from what, maybe 218 to 220.